Hello and welcome to the Palmore Institute's video lesson series. My name is Lowell and today we'll be looking at essential writing. So let's begin. Okay, in today's lesson we're looking at Chapter 1, Part 2, Writing About Other People. And for our learning goal, today, our learning goal for this lesson is to be able to write a paragraph about another person. We will also focus on writing about what people do and other basic information about them using simple sentences and using capital letters. Finally, we will focus on writing in a paragraph format. So let's take a look at some grammar for writing using capital letters. Please note that the first word of every sentence begins with a capital letter. Other important words in English begin with a capital letter, and we'll take a look at some of those in just a moment. First of all, let's take a look at some example sentences. The first one's done for you about the rule. We covered that when you start a sentence, use a capital letter. But let's take a look at a few more example sentences and try to think about what is the rule for capitalization in that sentence. You can pause the video. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so as I mentioned in the first two sentences, the first word of every new sentence and question should always be capitalized. And always capitalize the pronoun I. Don't have to capitalize he or she, but always capitalize I. And in the next set of sentences, the names and titles of people should always be capitalized. And in our next set of sentences, make sure that you always capitalize the names of streets, cities, states, countries, continents, stores, and restaurants. Let's take a look at a few more example sentences and try to guess the rules for capitalization in these sentences. You can pause the video. Okay, let's take a look at our rules. Always capitalize days of the week and months of the year. And with the names of languages and nationalities, make sure you always capitalize them. Okay, let's move on. Let's take a look at a practice activity. For this practice activity, please rewrite each sentence, add the capital letters where appropriate. You can do this on a piece of paper. If you want to pause the video, that's fine. Okay, let's take a look at your answers. Number 1, I like to ski. Make sure you capitalize I. Number 2, Yuko lives in Kyoto, Japan. Make sure you capitalize the name, the first letter of the name, Yuko, capitalize that Y. And because it's a city name, capitalize the K in Kyoto, and of course with countries, capitalize J. And for number 3, I am from Canada, capitalize the pronoun I, and also the country Canada, so capitalize the C in Canada. And for number 4, make sure you capitalize J in the name Jane, and capitalize German and French as they are languages. For number 5, let's capitalize the M in Mr. and the family name Bobbitt, we need to capitalize the first B. And with days of the week, make sure you capitalize the first letter, in this case Saturday, capitalize the S. And for our 6th example, my birthday is in November. Make sure you capitalize the M in my, as it's the first word in the sentence, and also capitalize the N in November as it is a month. And number 7, what is her native language? Capitalize the W because it's the first word. And I think that's all for number 7. And for 8, Juan works in a cafe on Sundays. Capitalize Juan, not only because it's the first word in the sentence, we'll capitalize J and Juan, but also because it's a proper noun, it's a name. And we capitalize the S in Sundays because it's a day of the week. And in number 9, is Mrs. Connor in the class? We capitalize I and is because it's the first word in the sentence. And we capitalize the M in Mrs. And the C in Connor because those are names. And for our final example, he buys most of his clothes at a store called Uniqlo. We capitalize the H in he and also the U in Uniqlo because Uniqlo is the name of a shop. Let's move on. What is a paragraph? A paragraph is a group of sentences about one main idea. The main idea is called the topic, and usually we introduce the topic in a topic sentence. It's typically the first sentence in a paragraph. And most English writing is organized into paragraphs. Okay, let's take a look at a model paragraph. It's written in the correct form. I'll read it for you. My name is Inigo Montoya. I'm from Barcelona, Spain. I'm 42 years old. I speak English and Spanish. I'm studying art at Portland State University. I love all kinds of sports. My favorite sports are fencing and boxing. I also like to travel, play bass guitar, and go to parties with friends. Okay, well, that's an example. Let's take a look at some interesting points about this. With paragraphs in paragraph form, basically English paragraphs are written in a special form or format. Follow these rules when you write a paragraph. Number 1, indent the first line of each new paragraph about 1/2 inch or 1.2 centimeters, 1.27 centimeters from the margin. If you're using a computer, you should hit the space bar about 5 times or set your margins to 5 spaces. Number 2, begin each sentence with a capital letter. And number 3, end each sentence with correct punctuation. In most sentences, this is a period. However, with some sentences, they end in a question mark or an exclamation mark. And number 4, the sentences in a paragraph follow each other on the same line. Do not start each sentence on a new line. Okay, let's look at another practice activity, practice 2. For the instructions, let's take a look at the sentences and rewrite them with corrections in a paragraph format. Capitalize letters that need to be capitalized and add punctuation. And you can pause the video and write these down and make corrections. Okay, let's take a look at your answers. In a paragraph format, these 8 sentences should look like this. We've indented the first sentence and capitalized all the first letters of each first word in each sentence. My name is Larry Anderson. I'm 24 years old. I'm from London, England. My native language is English. I'm a waiter. I work at a cafe called Rapido. Of course, I like to drink coffee and tea. I also like to play guitar and go to concerts. And let's take a look at practice 3. And for instructions, let's look at the sentences and rewrite them with corrections in a paragraph format, and make sure you use proper capitalization where appropriate and add punctuation. And you can pause the video. Okay, let's take a look at what you should have written. Okay, my name is Daniel LaRusso. I'm a 16-year-old high school student. When I was 15, my family moved from Newark, New Jersey to Reseda, California. I did not want to move to California. I did not want to leave New Jersey. I liked my hometown and school. However, my new teachers are very kind, especially my karate teacher, Mr. Miyagi. Luckily, I came to like Reseda a few months later. And in practice 4, let's take that same paragraph, but we'll rewrite it and change the perspective to third person. And to do this, you can change the pronouns and possessive adjectives. And I'll give you an example. Start with this sentence. His name is Daniel LaRusso instead of my name is Daniel LaRusso. So you can take a minute or two to write the paragraph. And you can pause the video. Okay, let's take a look at the answers. His name is Daniel LaRusso. He is a 16-year-old high school student. When he was 15, his family moved from Newark, New Jersey to Reseda, California. He did not want to move to California. He did not want to leave New Jersey. He liked his hometown and school. However, his new teachers are very kind, especially his karate teacher, Mr. Miyagi. Luckily, he came to like Reseda a few months later. Okay, I think that about wraps it up. Yes, and notice we changed the pronouns from I to he, for example, and we had to change a few other things. Okay, I think that wraps it up for today. For the homework, please choose 5 friends or family members. Try to describe where they live and what they do. I'll give you an example. Tuesday, March 28th, 2020. Today I want to write about my best friend Yuko. She is a student at Kame High School. She's a second-year student, so she will graduate next year. She will go to college to study economics. She moved to Kobe from Tokyo. She thinks people in the Kansai area are very friendly and have a good sense of humor. I always try to make her laugh. We are in the same ESS club, so we both like to practice speaking English. She gets really good grades and helps me with my homework. We have been friends for 2 years. I will miss her when she goes to college because we will probably go to different colleges. She is a wonderful best friend. Okay, I think that concludes for today's lesson. Feel free to leave comments. And until next time, thank you for watching.